I'm about to tell you something that could save your life or the life of someone you love. Look at the last 3 black people you texted. One of those 3 people will have high blood pressure. And what's terrifying is that they probably have 0 symptoms. They feel completely fine. This thing is known to be a silent killer because the first time you experience having it could be a massive heart attack, a stroke that changes your life, or your kidneys completely failing. You could be feeling completely fine one day, and then the next, you could be in the back of an ambulance. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why this is so important to the black community, and I'm going to give you a plan to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Joshua DaCosta, aka the Black Body Coach, and I help thousands of black professionals all over the world transform their body, their health, and performance. I've been doing this for over a decade now, and my sole purpose is helping black people through fitness be healthier, happier, fitter, and stronger, and be the healthiest generation that we live amongst the world today. I got into this because I saw my own family, my own community suffer the same consequences that we're talking about today. And also, they've been given advice that doesn't fit their lives or their cultural background. I knew there had to be a better way, and believe me, having high blood pressure is so huge in our community that this is something that cannot be ignored. It's one of the biggest, most urgent issues that we need to tackle together, and we need to do it now. If you are a black adult living in the UK or the US, your chance of having high blood pressure is 40% higher than your white counterparts. Just let that sink in. You're living in the same country, shopping in the same supermarkets, working similar jobs, breathing the same air, but our bodies are under some different kind of pressure. And it gets worse. It's not just that it's more common, it starts when you're younger. Sure, it might be a concern for most when they are 50 to 60 years old. But we are seeing black men and women suffer high blood pressure in their 30s, 40s. And when it does arrive, it hits more aggressively. The damage that it does to our organs happens faster and with more force. And the worst part of it all, it's often undiagnosed, mismanaged until it's far too late. Story time. Maybe this sounds familiar to you. They wrap that cuff around your arm, squeezes tight, you're starting to feel a little bit of pressure, feeling a bit anxious, and then they look at the reading and then they go, that looks a little bit high. Just try to relax more, maybe cut out some salt. You nod, agree, but then you walk out, you're feeling fine, and you carry on living your life. You don't have a headache, you don't feel dizzy, you feel completely normal. So you forget about it. That situation right there is the danger. High blood pressure doesn't feel like anything until one day it feels like everything. It's the ambulance, the hospital bed, it's the life you had been snatched away from having. So the big question is, why? Why you? I promise you, it's not just because we like extra salt in our foods. The reasons are deeper, they're more complex, and they're woven into the fabric of our lives. First, let's talk about genetics and salt. This is a real factor that does affect our bodies. Research has shown that some of our bodies tend to hold on to sodium more than others. Think of your body like a sponge. For some, the sponge is easily squeezed out. For others, that sponge just holds on to salt and water that follows it. And that extra fluid in our system is pushing pressure up into our blood vessels. That's a biological trait. But I want to be crystal clear on this. Your genes might load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. Your DNA is not your destiny. Next up is one of the main factors that drives blood pressure up, and that is stress. I'm not talking about, oh, I've got a deadline kind of stress. I'm talking real life stress that we have over the course of years. I'm talking about chronic, grinding, low-level pressure that you do low-level tasks every single day. And yes, I am talking about the stress of discrimination because it's real. The constant low-level anxiety that you carry for being watched in a shop, being underestimated at work, trying to be twice as good so that people can accept you for who you are. This just isn't in your head, it's a physical stress that you are carrying for years. It triggers a 24/7 drip fed of hormone being flooded around your body called cortisol. Just a reminder that this is episode 3. Then you would have known that I would have spoken about cortisol before. Think of cortisol as your body's alarm system. It's meant for short bursts of fight or flight. Think of it as like when people say, it's my adrenaline kicking in. Chances are is that your cortisol is kicking in as well. But when that cortisol level is alarming you day in, day out throughout the entire day, your fight or flight system is up here the entire time. Do that day in, day out, year after year. In time, it hardens and damages the lining of your arteries. That's just a physical reality. Then yes, of course, we have to talk about food culture. As a community, we love our food. Food is love. It's history. It's connection. It's a celebration on a plate. But we do have to be honest. The amount of oil that we put in our foods, soul food that literally feeds your soul, also feeds your heart. I'm never one to be demonizing food. In fact, in the Black Body Method, which is my main program for my clients, that gets them into incredible shape and live long, happy lives, they are learning how to A, get in shape, stay in shape without giving up their culture. But I do teach them how to understand the context. See, it's not the fried food that you have on a Sunday that is the main issue. It's the fact that after a long working day, say it's a 10 to 12 hour shift, you put the kids to bed. The only dinner spot that's open at the moment is Deliveroo, Just Eat, or your nan's leftovers. You end up having that, over-consuming, and over time, you're preventing yourself from having a caloric balance that would represent a healthy eating lifestyle. So whilst it's important to have access, it's also about convenience and setting yourself up for success, and your environment dictates that. And finally, let's be real about something. We, as a Black community, do have a deep mistrust within the medical community. It's not paranoia, it stems from data in the past as well. If you feel like your symptoms are being ignored or downplayed, and you see a clear bias in how treatments are offered, when you hear from your elderlies that they went to the doctors and they just told them that they just have to lose weight to get healthy, for what turned out later down the line for their health issues to be very serious, what do you think is going to happen after that? You're going to stop going. You stop booking those routine checks, you delay, and you decide to just tough it out. This is why we as a community also have a massive disagreement with taking medication. When we do know that medicine can be helpful, but that's for another story. Truth is that distrust has been built over generations, and it keeps on passing itself down, and it's leaving our people dangerously exposed. But I did not bring you here to leave you feeling hopeless. There is hope. You are not powerless. In fact, if you're watching this right now, chances are you have a lot of resources at your disposal. You are powerful beyond measure, and the power starts with small daily actions that you can take. Here are the 5 daily fixes that you can start tonight. First, hydration. It's probably the simplest, most cheapest way to win. I'm not the best at drinking water. I have to have one of these with me all the time to make sure that I'm reminding myself to drink water in the first place. But if you do get 2 to 3 liters of water in per day, that's going to help massively towards improving your blood pressure. I think I remember learning this back in secondary school. Water will help your kidneys flush out the excess sodium that's in your body. And tap water is free, so you can get yourself a big bottle and fill it up at the start of the day and start drinking it throughout the day. If it gets empty and you feel like you need to drink some more, do it again. Drink some more water. Make it your priority. I actually say this to my clients. If you're thinking about tracking your water, you don't necessarily need to. All you have to do is think about it this way. You want to wake up at a respectable time and then try and pee clear by noon. If you pee clear by noon, then you know you're hydrated, and then you taper off your water intake throughout the day. Try that little hack and I promise you it will work. One caveat to that though, don't drink your water too late at night. One of the worst things is going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, disrupting your sleep. Second, move your body. There's 2 things with this. You want to move your body from a cardio point of view, and you want to also lift weights. They both go hand in hand with each other, equal measure. You don't need to be Mo Farah, you don't need to be Ronnie Coleman, but I want you to adopt a routine that would actually put yourself under some sort of movement on a daily basis. 30 minutes of walking a day and 3 times per week lifting weights is going to have massive benefits to your blood pressure overall. Research shows that your blood pressure will lower if you actually do this just within 7 days. So get moving, lift weights, and you'll thank me later. Fix number 3, food swaps. Now, I want you to listen to me carefully here. I'm not saying for you to exclude foods. Yes, if there are trigger foods that you feel like you can eat too much of in a very short period of time, I would probably say you want to stay clear of them. That doesn't mean that you have to ban foods. I want you to think about being inclusive rather than exclusive. I'm not telling you to ban your favorite meals, but just think about ways that you can actually prepare them better. Instead of frying them in deep oil, why don't you actually use an air fryer or grill it? Make it more healthy in general. Be more proactive with regards to how you cook your foods, and you'll be able to enjoy them in just a different way. And when it's worth it and you want to enjoy your meals that is a little bit higher in calorie, a little bit tastier, a little bit more palatable, then fine, do that. But for most of the time, especially if your blood pressure is of importance to you, I want you to really consider being smart with your food choices. And that leads me to the 4th fix, salt. Your food doesn't have to be bland. That's a myth. I want you to fall in love with seasoning your food. Use garlic, ginger, onion powder, herbs and spices, smoked paprika, lemon and lime, a little bit of chili if you've got the palate for it. The truth is that these herbs and spices, very little calorie, and it enables you to actually bring your food to life. If you looked at a traditional cultural recipe and you just took away salt, but then added in other things that would actually aid the flavor, it's probably going to come out better. We're not focusing on removing flavor, you're just simply evolving it for your health. And finally, most important step of all that's going to fix your blood pressure, get it checked. You want to check your numbers regularly regularly. You can now buy a blood pressure monitor at home to check regularly. And it's not to say that it's going to be accurate, but you can notice the trend that changes. So for example, if it goes higher or lower, you'll be able to keep an eye on it. You can also go to the doctors on a more regular basis to get your blood pressure checked. And in some cases, especially if you're over 40, you can go to the local pharmacy to get it done for free. But if you're from home and you are even living with a partner, you can even split the cost. It's about £30, and a blood pressure monitor at home is going to be a big win for you. In the Black Body method, I get my clients to track their blood pressure weekly, and then we can actually use that data to make decisions that is going to help them, rather than lose more weight or just eat less salt. And when you track your blood pressure on a regular basis and you see that blood pressure go down, it motivates the hell out of you. You'll start thinking about maybe having a grilled chicken rather than a fried chicken. Maybe you add in one big salad. You just want to keep it going. You don't want to see that blood pressure go back up. So if you're thinking, okay, Josh, I'm ready to get started on my health, then I do have ways that I can help you. If you want a step-by-step plan that is going to A, improve your blood pressure, get healthier, and get leaner, in the description, I've linked my free 30-day Black Health Reset. It gives you daily advice to get you started on the right path. Also in the description, there is a free community that you can join. It's the Black Body Circle. It's got over 400 members of Black professionals, which is sick. And all of them are able to have access to the best sleep, health, fitness, diet, you name it, modules that is going to help them educate themselves to be a healthier generation, and leaner and fitter too. And finally, if you are thinking, Josh, I like your vibe, I want to work with you directly, then all you have to do is DM me BBC on my Instagram page, The Black Body Coach, and I will reach out to you myself. We can talk. And I forgot to say this in my other videos, but I'm going to try and remember. Be sure to give this video a like, please drop subscribe, and remember this is episode 3 of the Black Health Reset. If it's out already, be sure to check out episode 4, because in that episode, I'll be breaking down the real truth about type 2 diabetes. And I'll explain to you why it's not just about the sugar you eat. It's much deeper than that.